Morning, this is Scott in a Shot. Trying to figure out this podcast, so people will watch it, try to learn something. My name is Scott Dempsey. This is the Scott in a Shot podcast. Sometimes I'm taking a shot of whiskey, sometimes I'm drinking a cup of coffee. I want to talk today about children in our country, about the children of this country. It seems like the Democrats, all their policies are about getting rid of kids. I mean, every time Kamala Harris goes on the internet, she talks about abortion rights. I mean, abortion on demand, it's a woman's right. It's a woman's right. It's my body. It's our body. I get that. Okay, I get that it's your body. But if you go do an act with somebody, just kind of like if somebody robs a bank and you're with them and they rob the bank, well, you're going to be busted too. I mean, because you're an accomplice. Well, if you have a baby, if you go and have sex with somebody and and get pregnant, and are too stupid to figure out you're pregnant in a timely manner, and then you want to go abort a baby that's already half grown in your belly, I mean, and if you actually think that it's your body at that point, and that baby has no rights, it's a baby. It's already alive and it's in your womb, so it's okay just to rip it out and go kill it under the disguise of women's health. I mean, women's reproductive rights. Like I said before, reproductive means the making of something, not the killing of something. Look it up. Reproductive means the making of something, not the killing of something. I mean, take a shot of coffee. They go. I mean, so they want abortion on demand. They're even talking infanticide. Some of them, and that's killing a baby after it's already born because they decide they don't want it. I mean, they think that a woman should be able, after it's born, even that they should be have the right to kill the baby as opposed to giving it up for adoption. They have that right to kill that baby after it's born. Okay, so then we had COVID. They shut down the schools for a year or two, depending on what state you live in. The Democrats. Our kids they get farther behind than they were. Even they were already behind because you guys were already doing your crazy stuff in schools, not teaching our kids, jumping them from one grade to the next grade without even, when you know that they haven't even absorbed. A lot of kids didn't even learn that grade, the grade they're already in. But you jump them to the next grade when they have F's in all their classes or D minuses in all their classes. That's not how you keep a productive society healthy. Then they go behind. Then your kid can't get a Tylenol pill or an Advil pill, but they can go behind your kid's back and give them an experimental drug called hormone blockers. These hormone puberty blockers, I mean, they're experimental. They're having all kinds of problems with these hormone blockers over in Europe, and a lot of Europe countries they're pulling back now. But the United States is still, they're going forward, man. They're going forward because they got all the Democratic women and men all hypnotized into thinking that it's okay to change your sex when you can't change your sex. You can mutilate your body to make it look like the other sex, but you can never be that. Let's pray to God it can't anyway. I mean, but so they go behind our backs and they give our kids hormone blockers and all that, but you can't give them a Tylenol pill or an Advil pill or a vitamin. It has to be, but they will do a hormone blocker behind your back. All right, and then even go farther than that, I think, in some states. They'll even start trying to cut on them behind your back. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, then they allow the fentanyl to come in and kill all, not just adults, a lot of kids. Kids experiment with drugs. They got all the fentanyl coming over the border. They're not trying to stop it. I mean, they're not trying to stop illegal immigration. Okay, so you got that going on. Then let's just legalize marijuana and every other drug in the world. I mean, let's just legalize them all or decriminalize them all. Are you starting to see the pattern here, people? They want us to die. They want our kids to die. They want us to die for whatever reason, for whatever crazy shit they got figured out in their head that they want to try to transform this country to. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a bunch of craziness. I mean, but what I'm seeing is everything's against the kids. Kids don't have the first chance in the world anymore of making it out all right, making it out of school, making it out of college. making it out of the real world. I mean, and watching these pundits come on and always defend it. I mean, I don't even. It's so undefendable. It's just so undefendable. So this is a quick little shot in the pot. I mean, Scott in a shot pot right here. And I don't know, people. It's weird watching this country go the direction it's going in. A bunch of people that hate our kids. They hate us. Something's going on behind the scenes they don't want to tell us about. I mean, and so many people are buying into it. All these actors and actresses, you know, like De Niro, eat a dick. Julia Roberts, eat a dick. Whoopi Goldberg, eat 3 dicks, eat 5 dicks, eat all the dicks. Joy Behar, you're dickless. I wouldn't want to give you a dick. You're so stupid. I mean, all these news organizations that are always constantly, it's all just negative coverage. It's not even news. They're not even news organizations anymore. They're all a bunch of political pundits that come on there. And, you know, it's an opinion column. That's how they get out of it. It says news, but it really means opinion. You know what I mean? It's not the news. They give you their opinion of the news. That's why they're always so wrong. Because they want you to believe that is the news. It's not the news, people. It is not the news. I mean, so we need to get back to the news and not opinion news. I'm so tired of watching everybody come on there and give their opinion. It's just report the news. And let everybody make up their own minds on their opinion. This 24-hour news cycle, I think is a threat to democracy, honestly. I find myself watching it too much, but at least I watch Fox. But when you watch these other ones, I mean, 24 hours of them brainwashing the weak-minded people that can't think for themselves. Or like to be told that something's cool when it's not cool because they're weird. Not that hard to figure out, people. People are weird anymore. They always have been. The only difference between being weird now and being weird back in the day is people used to have class. Used to have they had standards, you know. And you know, and I know everybody's a freak, but I never saw it come out into the open like it is now, to where everybody's talking about it. I mean, keep your freakiness. You know, people used to like to be spanked back in the day. They like to be spanked now. People like to be tied up back in the day, and whatever they do, and they like it now. It's always been there. But to try to bring it out into the limelight, and the reason why it was never brought into the limelight back in the day probably was because the people of a more sane era realized that you can't be having that kind of influence on your children all the time. I mean, you will become what you become, but kids have the right to be kids. They have the right to be kids. You know, it's like the cell phone. When my kids were younger, they never wanted to go outside. I mean, I had to force them to go outside. I almost had to throw them out physically. Almost. I didn't, but I mean, I wanted to. They're sitting there trying to listen to me and my wife talk about bills and things that are adult things. My parents never allowed me and my brother to hear about bills, food, things that are adultish, you know, adult things. I mean, because you're supposed to be a kid. I mean, all these cell phones, kids sitting around the house listening to parents argue about certain things that come around in the adult world when they're children. I mean, it makes these kids, it changes them, and not for the better. It's taken away from their childhood, people. Kids are supposed to be innocent little children, and they're supposed to find their own way, especially sexually. They will find their way sexually without any adult interference. I mean, like my dad told me when I asked him how to French kiss a girl back when I was 10 years old. He's like, son, it'll all come natural. Don't be afraid. Everything will come natural, and it obviously it did. I mean, it's so simple, people. But if we just keep acting like the only thing that really ever matters, everything matters, but the most important thing that matters is the kids, because they're us traveling through time, through where we get reborn through our kids, and we're cruising through time. But if we don't pave the way for kids to have pave the way for kids to live in a society where they can be kids and find things out on their own when it comes to sexuality and stuff like that, then I mean, and start worrying about teaching them what they need to learn, like basic math, reading, writing. We need to bring back in the Pledge of Allegiance, because we are a country, and it seems like we're a country of kids that aren't really proud anymore. I mean, how can the United States, its flag, or our traditions be controversial? to people of this country. They're controversial, so they don't want it. They don't allow it. They take in, I mean, they take away the Pledge of Allegiance because I mean, kids don't. Well, kids don't have the right to like anything. They have the right to be a kid and to do what they're told to do and to behave. And once they turn 18, they can go behave however they want. Once they're not in my home, but in my home, to be taught how to behave, how to show respect, go to school and do what you're told, and teachers stay away from my kids' sexuality. That is what that is what's up. Whatever happened? When did that ever become so wrong? I mean, half this country really wants the government butting into our kids' sexuality when there's little children. I mean, really? I mean, this child thing here. I mean, the abortion, the not teaching them, the going behind our backs with them. Man, it is all. That is what's going to ruin this country. That is what is ruining this country. I'm sure most of these parents didn't realize their kids were going to go to college and be out there holding signs, celebrating Hamas' murder and murderous terrorist actions that they do. I mean, I'm sure they didn't think that was going to happen, but it did, and it is. I mean, man, if I had my kids were young right now and I spent all that money for them to go to college, I'd want a refund. If I saw one of my kids holding one of those signs, I would be suing every form of our government for all the money they took from me for allowing that kind of crazy shit to be taught to my child. It's being taught in school, people. They're teaching these kids how to hate our own people, our own country in school by taking the Pledge of Allegiance out, by saying by a kid wearing an American flag. It's divisive. I mean, on his shirt. I mean, that's divisive. Promoting his own country is when did any sane person ever think that could ever think that promoting your own country is divisive? If a person or a kid or a child or a woman or a man thinks that shirt is divisive for having an American symbol of honor on it, I mean, our own country flag on it, on their shirt, then they're communist. They're plain and simple. They're a communist. I mean, if that's how little respect you have for this country, that you're offended by somebody even wearing a flag on their shirt that says that they're American, I mean, that's what's really going on, people. So this is Scott and a Shot. I'm going to call it good for right now. Let's worry about our kids, people, because they're worrying about them in a bad way. The Democrats are worrying about our kids for all the wrong reasons. We need to wake up and smell the coffee and make sure that we don't allow them to come and take our kids away from us all sneakily behind our back. Turn them against us in our own country. All right. I'm out. Later.